Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu-Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which can be weirded out that there's so many parts of this, and also kind of relieved because it's not so bad. And at the end of the day, judging and hating ourselves, but also showing ourselves self-compassion and empathy, as we all should, because we are what? Sweet. Hi!
Hey everyone! So today we're talking 90 Day, The Single Life, Season 4, The Tell All, Part 4. Hi, I'm Sean Robinson. Now, I
Mhm.
have a question, Chris. Do you
Great.
notice how they bring people on and off the stage? Why
Yeah.
come they can't just do it all at one shot? Do you think that this is something that they did do in one shot and the producers have just spliced it up in such a way? Or do you, because you've been on sets more than I have, do you think maybe they are doing this back and forth situation?
They are doing it back and forth. They have created these segments prior to filming, and they have cut it up thusly for
Huh.
their own reasons. That is what's happening. No, that is what we are seeing, and that is what actually happened day of. So we start where we left off with that John, was finally going to give in to Texas Amy's timeline and propose. And so he gets down, he cries, he really does like shake a little in his talk, and I love you, whatever, God bless. So he's moved. We never get a shot of the ring, which of course I wanted. And then he also seems to be comfortable and relieved that he has now bought himself time, because now, like, they're engaged, but like, you don't have to like hurry up and get married. Yeah, we got some things to work out first. So it's like giving her what she thinks she wants, but is it? It's kind of, I don't know. It's like a decree.
Yeah, it's
Dec-
like a promise ring, or like it's a pre affiance. You know what I mean? It's like they could never actually get to getting married, but she could feel good saying that she had a fiance.
yes.
Very weird. So she gets up, or Sean is like, did you mean yeah? Are you gonna say yes, Texas Amy? And she's like, oh yeah. And then we did a show us the ring, and the ring looks like it came from a pawn shop, which, listen,
Yes. Or his
nothing wrong
mom.
with that. Yeah, nothing wrong with that, but it is classical in the sense that it is not yet uh like new. It's not a classic ring. It's an aged ring. I don't know how to say that, because it's probably
Dated?
30 years old. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not vintage, it's dated. There we go.
Mm. I'm not quite sure. It could be vintage too. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it was interesting looking. He just keeps kissing her shoulder. He does it like 14 times. I'm happy though. They're happy. They can do whatever they want. It's like, it's interesting. It's like you never really should have been on the show. You really weren't single the entire time, and I get it. Like, she's from America, so he shot himself in the foot, because if he really wanted to be on the show, we all know what he should have done, and it wasn't date an American. But maybe he just thinks that he can be like Ed, like meet someone on the show and then just like be on the show, which, I mean, they haven't set a great precedent anyway. So maybe he, whatever, he could be. But I don't find him that entertaining. The other part that I thought was interesting though is Patrick then goes off. Patrick the whole time is like, "Yeah, that's what he wants. I'm gonna support him," and then gets off the phone and then proceeds to call their mom, who we remember, and then just talk a bunch of shit about it. And then the mom pretty much agreed that like Patrick isn't ready for this, even though he's like 49, and like how Texas Amy is like ball busting and jealous and like really controlling, and how this is somewhat doomed to fail. And at that moment I was like, is this where the mom's going to be like, did he do it with my ring? But you know we didn't.
Yeah, the comment that got me was, I guess good for them. 9 months ago, Amy was a booty call. So
Whew.
I'm like, does Amy know that? But also, wow.
Now, so
Wow.
yeah, like, it's funny because booty call is interesting. How would you? Okay, she's always lived in the city that she lived in, and which he never lived there. So he says that she reached out on social media, and then they met up, and they obviously fucked for like a whole weekend in some hotel. And then from that, they just kept talking and talking, and she like tried to lock it down with like, this is a relationship. That's when he comes out and visits her. So I think that Patrick, he says booty call. It's interesting. It almost, because booty call to me is like almost a friends with benefit style, where this person over a series of weeks and months lives close to me, or we're in a similar situation where often we end up either together, one of us is drunk, one of us calls the other one. But she was like more like a one weekend stand off of like the social media fame that he had gotten from being on the show from Patrick, right?
Super fan. Let me tell you how I define it. Okay, this is everything for me, guys. These are the way I define these words. Okay, first of all, to me, a booty call is somebody that you like Chris described, someone that you only get with when you're like inebriated, and usually it's not me. I'm never inebriated, but the other person's inebriated, and they call me or whatever, and that's when I don't have power, when I'm a booty call. Now, what if I'm an after 10 friend, which is where I prefer to be, is a situation and which the person comes over usually after 10, and we have good conversation, good cuddling before and after, and decent in betweens, right? That's an after 10 friend. And then a friend with benefits is a friend that I actually like, and we're not serious. We go on dates. It's sweet, and
Sweet.
it's yeah, it's part of the sweet from the docu sweeties. Yeah, so that's like a friends with benefits. Now I can say right now I've not had a friend with benefits. So that's my definition of the situation. And tell me, you guys, what you think. Let's really have a deep conversation about what is booty call and after 10 friend and maybe a fuck buddy or friends with benefits. Like, what do those things mean for you? Okay, so then we got a lot of Miss Debbie again.
Mm-hmm.
Both the Debbies having a lot of opinions, I think, from this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so Debbie calls the Debbie with the fan, or as she wants to say, Miss Debbie versus Mama Debbie. I said, bitch, you better put her. You say that you're older than me, bitch. Okay, I'm Miss and you're Mama.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Senorita and you are Senora.
I'm baby Debbie and you're old Debbie. Old Debbie.
Yeah,
That's what I would be like. I'd be like, I'm baby Debbie and you're
yeah.
old Debbie.
So baby Debbie. Meanwhile, they're 4 years apart.
I know.
Okay, so old baby Debbie calls a John a knight in shining armor, and then for whatever reason they bring out fucking Fernanda. Has anyone anywhere ever asked for her? To me, like, I would expect to see her on like Celebrity Big Brother or like Are You Hot or Not, like just something where I don't watch it and I don't care because she's such a little character. But they bring her out and I like didn't know who it was because I like looked at my phone for a second and I heard this voice and I was like, I used to hear this voice cry all the time. And I turned back and it was Fernanda. I have not seen her in 6 years.
Yes, yeah, you are right in that happened and it was wild. And she was always hot, and then she was with, I want to say his name is Josh, but he feels like a Josh, right? If his name wasn't Josh, Jonathan. And he was like a realtor, and he was just like wanted to be so cool, and she was so young at the time. And then she broke up with him like immediately, but stayed in the country for whatever reason. And here we are. So she wait, was she ever on Single Life?
I don't think so. I think the only thing that she was on was Pillow Talk.
I mean,
she was 19 when he brought her over, and he was like either like 32 or 27. I know those are two different things, but I think definitely 30. He's like an ex-baseball player.
She was on Single Life. I'm so sorry. I think she was on season 1.
Oh,
that's why. So that makes sense. She had a, yeah. We just didn't want. I mean, like, yeah, I never watched Single Life season 1. I feel like I should. I know that Debbie was on it. Old Debbie. Yeah. I want to say maybe even like Colt. I don't remember. Like, I think it also happened during COVID, and so there was just like so many things. I forgot why I didn't watch it.
I didn't think it would last. That's why I didn't watch it. Oh. And then it did, and so now I'm here. Yeah. So then we've got Debbie, oh my god, just like the conversation between the Debs about the age, and old Debbie really coming for baby Debbie in a way that I found to be unnecessary, and then baby Debbie really calling it out. I was here for it. They're like,
Well,
whole like,
yeah.
would you lie? Why would you lie? I'm proud of it. And I'm like, girl, like you should lie. But also you can't lie, old Debbie, because people think that you were a really good looking 87. You know what I mean?
Old Debbie at one point is like, yeah, is it, oh, I forgot if it's like maybe in the previews for the next episode, but did you did you catch old Debbie be like, keep my family's name out of your mouth? When I would be like, you are here on a season of a show you weren't even on talking shit to her face.
Well, yeah, and then also, Miss Debbie comes back, baby Debbie comes back with like a good, like it's a good little back and forth. And if that's how it actually went down, bra fucking vote.
I think it was edited. I think those little baddies can't possibly like, get all those words right first try.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, so then yeah, she that's her like big thing is that she lied even though she like came clean. Now, I love the fact that old Debbie at one point's like, "Well, have you ever thought of the other apps for people our age?" And no, she means Our Time. Have you ever heard of Our Time,
Oh
the
my
app?
god, no, I had no idea what she was talking about.
I was
And
like,
it's
Our
like
Time.
nobody wants to fucking go on that. Like, no, you want to go on one where everybody, so that if a young 24-year-old who happens to be an artist and a painter wants to talk with me, who am I to stop them?
That part was crazy a little bit because like I was like, yeah, Our Time would be great, but there's even like Match is kind of old person-y, Plenty of Fish feels old person-y. But then at some point later, and I don't want to go out but of character, or I'm sorry, out of order, but it's just a throwaway point later, they bring up the fact that Ruben was on Bumble, which makes me feel like that's how they met. And I mean, Bumble to me is such a young girl's playground. I even feel too old on Bumble, mostly because I just like don't like to like ask out men. So like I feel like I'm perfect Hinge material, but I mean like my age range is Hinge and my like fame level should be Raya, but here we are. I
Oh
don't
my
like
god.
online dating anymore.
Uh-huh.
But basically, yeah, everyone lies on dating apps, and it's funny because Debbie's like, I don't put filters on my face. And there was a thing about what's worse, lying by your age or putting filters on your face.
To me,
We enter
filters.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, for sure. So it's funny because I don't use filters on social media anymore, but I definitely don't use filters for my dating apps or whatever. And I always wonder if I get less things than if I did. Like I feel like if I did, I would get more dates. And I don't know, yes or no if they would leave upon immediately seeing me or whether they are now accustomed to that and they would just be like, yeah, okay, this girl looks like an 8 version of what I thought an 11 was.
Yeah, but I also think, why would you want anyone who is only with you because you put a filter on your face? Like, what if you had done the experience, or what if I did the experience and I did it and I did like the guys who were there after I put the filter on? I'd be like, you're fake, you're fake. Because I don't know that I'm gonna
Totally.
win them over with my personality, right?
Well,
Like,
you are.
no, they don't want personality. If I want to
I
hear,
know, but I mean, you're not going to not win them over with your personality. I mean, I don't know if personality is going to be, if anyone can win anything, it'd be personality, but they might not like personality. I get what you're saying. They tend to not like it. It's very much
yeah,
like, I very much feel like Ursula, like who needs
yeah,
that voice, honey? Just like sit there and look pretty,
your pretty
like
face. And
just
don't
don't
underestimate the
underestimate the
importance
importance
of
of our body
body
language.
language.
Okay, so my version of Ursula was like half Johnny, half Ursula. It's fine. So then Julian enters. I love this part so much. Okay, so basically Julian's like, yeah, I'll tell you, my mom is a fucking nightmare. See this gray hair? That's the last one. But let me tell you, I have tried to hook her up, and the men that I have brought to her knees are quality men. And then he's like, generals, policemen. I'm like, oh my god, yeah. She just keeps bringing him like you know service people, popo, like straight, and she's just like, no, I want an artist. It's just like she doesn't want to say what we all know. She's like, no, I can't date a man like that. I can't date a man who like is super conservative and, you know, like old school. I think that she's been married too many times, where I think that her version of wanting an artist is someone that won't expect her or too much from her to do all the old-fashioned shit she doesn't wanna do, because she doesn't wanna take care of a man anymore. Like, if we go back to, like, the Kobe and Emily of HEA, let's just say, whatever, God bless, no, it's very different, but the Cameroon thing, that guy's like, "I come home, Kobe. I come home to a beautiful cooked meal, you know, and a silent wife, you know, and all of my kids are asleep, whatever,
Gosh.
yeah. You know, but like Debbie, Debbie's, God bless, a seasoned woman, has been married. She has already had to do all that, you know, and she was probably a hippie back then. So I'm sure now she's like, oh, I can't marry a man like that. A former like person of the army or this, like, that man's gonna want a certain something, and I want to wear these feather, you know, like, I get
Yeah.
her.
She's like, "You're ruining my style, man. What if I wanted to take a hit from a doobie? You're gonna tell
Yes.
your superiors on me?
Yes.
No way." Yeah.
Debbie
Yeah.
is just
That's
like a
hilarious.
stoner from like, yeah, she's been to Woodstock, honey. She's like a 1960s, 70s stoner, you know, like, was she in, I know, Hate Ashbury or like San Francisco, maybe, you know, like, she gives that vibe. Like, she gives the vibe that she is like been a groupie for like lots of bands. Isn't she almost like almost famous? Or like, can't you see her being Kate Hudson with that hair a billion years ago? Like, following like bands around and having men obsessed with her because she's gorgeous, you know, but also being like the hot blonde that's kind of like tripping and being like, you're so great. And like all these guys are like, I'm making this song for you, baby Debbie, you know, and they're just like
Yeah.
playing. Like, I feel like
Mhm.
that was her life, you know? So God bless her. She
So
can't be
why is she
married.
such a prude now? That's the question. Why doesn't she want to
She
give
doesn't
her?
think she is. She's just only a prude. She's only a prude because she's a little bit Southern and she's old, but in her mind, she's not a prude. Now, that's why she doesn't understand that it's problematic when she's like, I like guys with a little flavor, because she does not understand that it sounds like this white lady's like, I want brown men only. That's what she's saying. She doesn't know that. She thinks she's saying, I'm really open, you know?
Oh, I love a baby Debbie. Um,
It's the same, same, same. I mean, you know, I can talk about her.
love,
Thank God for her. You know, Natalie
yeah,
does nothing in this season. This whole
nothing
part 4, like,
episode.
is
Mhm.
Natalie free. Nothing really
Wait,
important
she
happens.
cries when John, they all cry
Oh,
when John proposes to Amy, which is so crazy. I was like, what did happen that we missed? Y'all saw his butt crack. So did I. What made you cry? Was it the smell? I don't understand. They all cried. Very upsetting.
um, I
Okay.
agree.
And then we get Ruben that comes in and she immediately clocks it. And you said this, that she doesn't like Ruben's style.
Mhm.
She's like, you could have worn those pants with a black shirt. And I'm like, bitch, what are you talking about? You didn't wear that outfit. She has on a tutu, and Veronica calls it out. She has on a tutu. She has on orange knee high socks. She has on orange cowboy boots. And then I don't know what's above it. I don't know what she's wearing, but she's definitely wearing a giant sequin jacket, which I don't know how her
Yes.
hair isn't all tangled in those
That
sequins, but it's
yes.
it's
It's
working.
not.
And some kind of feather boa situation happening.
Yes.
And so she's like, you could have worn a black shirt. Like, shut
Black pants
up.
next time. You know,
Mm,
take it down a notch, you know. He's like,
yeah.
"Okay, this the Ruben thing is so awkward." So Julian's basically like, "Yeah, you said one thing and you did like a billion other things. You said that you worked in a frame store. You said that you weren't working. You said that you know, like, wanted her to move there immediately, and then suddenly it wasn't that, buddy. You're like sketch city." And you know what? He's not wrong. Like, but the thing that I thought was unforgivable, and Miss Debbie did too until she forgave him for it, which is that they're all in New York and they haven't seen each other since they aired, and they're supposed to be together. He was in New York and then didn't take one moment until like coming on set then to stop by her hotel room. He was like, yeah, once I got all and get in and got to my hotel room, it's like, you're in a relationship with someone, you haven't seen him in like 3 months, you're in the same city, you wouldn't just like go, I don't know. Well, she's
They're
not
not
fucking
in
him
a
though.
relationship. They're not in
You're
a
right, you're right,
relationship.
you're right. He's still on Bumble. He's still active on Bumble.
Yeah, and that was a huge thing. Like this to me, they conned that man into getting with Debbie. It was peer pressured into getting with him because
Yes.
Debbie is trying to remain coy and aloof. And in this stage in her life, ain't nobody got time for that. And
Mhm.
so he's trying to respect her by not asking to come to her hotel. And he says, like, that's what happened. I'm trying to respect you because you like, and he's like me. I'm gonna tell you right now. Remember, I told you, I was like, I don't understand. If you don't want to have sex, then we're not kissing. Like it is like I don't understand that median point outside of being a teenager or in your early 20s. And if you are choosing that course, there are, to me, obvious consequences to that. And it's a consequence of her not wanting to, I guess, chase or like let him know how she truly feels, wanting him to make all the first moves. But they're not courting for marriage. So he doesn't need to do it like that. They're just dating. And like they talked about not being exclusive, but all of a sudden everyone on stage is trying to force them to be exclusive. And I'm like, if you're not exclusive, then you don't take the profile down. And so that's why the profile is still up. And it just, I don't, there's so much about it that I don't understand as a person who does date. I don't understand this like intense, like, you need to be off the apps. You need this, you need that, you need this. Like, we're not exclusive and we're not in a relationship. So there.
Well, I think they were in a relationship, whether they were exclusive, that's it doesn't feel like they were, but she comes for him for that. And he unfortunately has never stuck to his guns about anything. He literally is like, the sky's blue. You're like, bitch, it is fucking purple. He's like, purple, purple, purple. I know it's purple. Like he's that kind of person. So you're just like, oh, okay, buddy. But
Well, he
basically
stuck by his lawyer wife for 27 years, so he can do some of that.
17 years, I think it was.
Mm.
But you're right. So then we get Louisa to come back out, just like you said. Like they've been, I don't know, her and Jamal have been like eating the salad from the white food containers for the past like 2 hours for their like segment. Um,
Styrofoam.
they come out and she's like with Tim, she's like, yeah, it's interesting because the last segment was obviously Veronica and Jamal, and now it's like her point to go at Tim, even though she kind of like did a little bit, but she's like, Tim, you used me. You would call me all the time and just complain about shit. I would have to pick up and just hear you fucking complain about this, about that, about why would I even care? Why are you fucking calling me about that? What? You're just using me like my energy, my space, my time. You won't have sex with me. You don't want to kiss me. Like yeah, I mean, what is it? And she gets to what she thinks it is later. But what'd you think of this?
I just think that she had way too much heat for him, especially because they did not have sex. Like, I don't understand. She makes it seem like he led her on to what? There was no sex. How are you being led on? Did you think that this person would be in a relationship with you? Maybe because you really wanted to be with him. And it's like sometimes I just get the delusion of some people. I really is astounding to me. She is mad because she claims that he called her complaining all the time. And I'm like, did he? I don't believe that. And then she asked him to come over and he's like, no, I'd rather hang out with the boys. That just means that he's not interested in you. You're putting too much on him. You want him to fuck you and do all this stuff and kiss him with baloney lips, and he doesn't want it. And I just feel like we need to have a real conversation about consent or like a man's right to choose, because the way they were all coming at Tim, like, I don't understand it, but and it's still that like machismo, fucking patriarchy, where because he doesn't want to have sex with Louisa, he must be gay or something must be wrong with him. Now, whether or not that's true is neither here nor there. To have this conversation on stage and him having to consistently defend himself. Now, what they did as a disservice is they showed us a clip of him hanging out with her in the goth field looking like a little mole rat. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot that is what he actually looks like. I mean, because he fooled me with the dyed hair. And then we get this
Sorry.
no facial hair, like head looking like a silver helmet. And then we go to him actually looking decent in the tell-all. I don't like the Jamal and Louisa narrative. It just feels so fake and brought on. And it's like Jamal is like clinging on with his toenails to this 15-minute of fame that his mother gave him. We forget Jamal is the son of superfan Kimbali.
Yeah, which that means that Jamal has only Usman a thing for all of this, and baby girl
Yes.
Lisa. Talk about
Yeah,
another baby.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah.
I completely agree with you. I want to say that. So, yeah, she's like, okay. So basically, two things happen from this moment. She's like, "You wouldn't kiss me," and then at one point, they're like, "Tyree, can you believe that? Look at this hot woman has given herself on a platter for this man. Can you believe it, Tyree? Wouldn't you kill? You'd only kill for such a taste of a woman throwing their naked hot body at you, wouldn't you, Tyree? That's not yours, though." Anyway, like that happens, which is crazy. And then yeah, like Tim is like, Tim's like, "Look, you guys, this I have been on the stage already doing this. You've already come at me with me being gay or whatever, and like I'm not gonna. People that know me, know I'm not gay or whatever." And then he goes out and has a conversation with Louisa where he's like, "I always told you were the hottest person in Charlotte or whatever." When he tells her this, his eyes are closed for what feels like a good 4 seconds. So this is what we see. He, through these eyelids, through closed eyelids, tells her this. I mean, he's on TV. He keeps being on TV, so he knows he's the fodder. He's on Pillow Talk. He knows that people are there to comment, and he's up for scrutiny. So I think that if him to bring any woman on a show called Single Life, he's going to have to assume that we're like, are you romantically interested in this person? And if so, what is your like end game? If your end game is to marry her, is your end game to like fuck her? Is your end game to like do nothing with her? Like you never made it clear of like what you wanted other than you thought she was hot and then you had bad breath one night.
Yeah. It is so it is so weird because he's not a part of this franchise. I mean, he's not on the show like Veronica is. Then we, have this like interesting go back and forth. And I know I'm going out of order, but let me skip this. So then afterwards, Veronica and Jamal have a really sexy moment that I found to be like the great. Like I was like, ooh, foreplay. They have a really little sexy moment where A, we get to see her full outfit and I want it, and her shoes, and B, where she touches his chest. Then he bends over and laughs. She kisses his head, and then he kisses her cheek. Listen, they have good sex. They just don't get along well. Like Jamal is getting coochie down, okay? Because he's gonna have sex with Louisa, or he's already had sex with Louisa too. Go ahead.
Yeah, this other thing that happens is that basically they're hinting, and again, knowing that we wouldn't have footage of it, that at the hotel bar that Louisa and Jamal were spotted canoodling the night before in cahoots, canoodling in cahoots, all the C words,
Mhm.
like talking about what they were going to do and how they were going to bring down, Veronica and Tim. And so basically after their talk, as you said, Veronica and Jamal have a moment, Tim and Louisa have a moment, and then Jamal and Louisa have one of the sharp faves. The sharp fave is going behind like a black, like out of sight, but absolutely on audio. Like a secret scene that involves audio kissing and then like things like we hear like like how'd you go, like I think it was good, I was just so nervous, and Jamal's like, no, it went really well, baby. I think that now they dated and you dated them and now we get to date. Oh, Jamal. You're like, what's happening back there? What's in the styrofoam cartons, honey? Is that the salad? I mean, like, are they just like eating, or they just like, we're so hungry? I don't know. But
It's,
did you
it
find
was
it
so
interesting?
it was so sneaky. And I was like, what the hell is happening? Why do we get this? And then it didn't even go anywhere, but alluded to the fact that they may have had sex more than once.
Like they got
Did
fucked
they?
up at that hotel bar and they went back to one of their rooms, and I feel like Chantel like heard them like drunkenly get out of the elevator,
Mhm,
and she's
mhm.
like, she knows more, but she's like, that's why she like even says anything. I feel like she's like, well, this is what or the producers told her to, either one. But basically
Yeah,
she's like, this is what I heard, and it's just like, those Luisa's loud. I
yeah,
mean, that like, and if she's
yeah.
drunk, she's even louder. Like,
Louder. Yeah.
she's a
And she
loud
doesn't
girl.
remember, which then goes, oh my God, she doesn't remember. Did he have sex with her blackout drunk? Like now we go into consent issues. Like it is not as cute as they want it to be.
Yeah, it was interesting. You're right. When she's like, I don't like that part was also like fishy. I mean, if I was him, I'd be like pissed.
Yeah, I'd be like, what do you mean you don't remember? What do you mean you don't remember? We were
Yeah,
there
roll the tape.
together.
roll the tape of
Yeah.
us leaving the lounge and you just like easily walking in those 7-inch heels. I don't know what to
Yes.
say. I mean, no, if she did it, God bless her. I'm just joking. But like I don't think that's the thing. I think we're just joking because it feels like, by the way, this is all manufactured by the producers anyway, to have any sort of fodder. Because I honestly think what's supposed to happen is I think that we're going to now have like either filming at the hotel or the aftermath of tonight and this love triangle, very Chekhovian, that they've given us, is all the people that want different people and the people that the players that are being. So but I think that Jamal and Louisa are easily a better couple all around. Now none of them are from a different
Yeah.
country. Oh, is Louisa from a different country?
Well, yeah, she is, but she's not here on a
She's
visa.
American.
She's here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot. They had mentioned that. So I was like, then Jamal would have, oh my God, a golden ticket,
He got a golden
to be
ticket.
on.
You got a
Yeah, then,
golden
yeah,
ticket.
But no, he would only be too lucky to like, yeah. If I were him, honey, if I were any of these cast members and just wanted to like maintain the ride, I would just be on the international sites finding the hottest babe possible, just to like just to like have a minor relationship with, so you can just like be like, before the 90 days, let's go, let's see what they're like, because they're casting right now and they love to cast someone that you've met online but you haven't met in real life. I don't like, they would rather you have not met in real life than I feel like have met and then you've gone back there a bunch of times and you feel already comfortable with their family. The family knows you. It's much better to be like, is this person real? What's this like and everything?
Yeah, and I hate that. I want the family to know you and like you, and I want the shenanigans to occur not because you're an awkward American who doesn't know how to behave on foreign soil, but because you're actually a shithead.
Yeah.
Okay. We get some commentary from Natalie here and there, but not too much. She's just like the old Debbie coming in, like making comments and then leaving it, except for she doesn't cause as much ruckus. We didn't hear anything from Chantel, and we didn't hear anything but a giggle from Tyree. But we do have a little bit of another issue with the Debs again. But I think that was next episode, right? Is the issue with the Debs?
Yeah, I think the issue is the Debs. The last thing we can say is if Tim has low T. Debbie was the first to be like, it's possible Tim has low T. I know what low T is. No, Julian has high T. Like high tea with the queen at the Plaza Hotel. High tea. That's my son Julian. But you, Tim, have low tea. You have a miserly poor person's tea at 9 p.m. Poor tea.
Hello, subjects. As I am your queen, I am having tea with Julian, who is Deborah's son. I have a son. Oh, I have two sons. I'm sorry, I have two sons, and they're quite shit. And that daughter, too bad that she cannot take the crown because they only gave it to one woman once, and that was me, and that is all and final. So back to your regularly scheduled programming, where you can talk about tea that is not the British kind. Thank you and good night.
Okay.
You forgot to say Commonwealth.
And the Commonwealth.
Okay, sorry, thank you. I just love Commonwealth so much. Yeah, God bless. John injects himself into that situation, and he's like, and I also inject myself with tea.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you, honey, I was low tea, and then I got that tea, honey, I'm high tea. You're just like,
I thought that was so crazy. Like, we are not going to come up with a medical reason why Tim doesn't want to jump down this, Luis's. She's like, you're hot, man. Yeah, and he's young. Yeah, I can see them wanting to get it on. But yeah, that conversation was inappropriate too. I just felt bad for Tim, and I don't want to feel bad for Tim and his Mountain Dew.
Yeah, you're annoyed that you have to feel bad for Tim. I get you. No one wants to defend Tim. I get it.
Yeah.
It's just like, and to put you in that position, it's just like, it's shame on them.
Cruel, unusual.
Yeah. That's actually the end of the episode. So here we are with the end. We're looking down. We're like, oh yeah, this is kind of it. But don't worry, there's a whole other part. So There's more. Not of this specific episode, but the entire season. Hi. So let me tell you, if you want more of us, and who wouldn't, of this particular episode, you can, of course, go and to the to the internet, and then go to social media and follow us at DocuSweeties on Instagram, at TikTok, on X. We have a Facebook group, the DocuSweeties Podcast Facebook group. At the same time, if you want to see the visuals of just me on this episode, you absolutely can. And listen, it's worth at least $5.
But we don't have an option for that, so you can just PayPal us if
Pay
you
the
want to.
whole thing.
Wahimalino@gmail.com. But if you have $10, then you could see half of her, and that's on patreon.com/DocuSweeties, $10 a month. So you can join us there if you would like to support us, or if you would like to get some exclusive content, such as a live every first Monday of the month and other exclusive stuff, like sometimes the episode almost as soon as we get it recorded. And that is great for you. Also the visuals, right? So if you're interested in that, join us at patreon.com/DocuSweeties, $10 a month. But okay, you guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.